Hey guys, what's up? It is me, CDT5, and I am coming at you with another video. Welcome back to Pokemon Mondays, and we're gonna do something a little bit different today. I'm excited about the new regulation. So we're going to take a look at what double restricted will look like in the context of what we're expecting. So regulation I, people are expecting to be the GS Cup, because generally at the end of game cycles it goes to legendaries, and this is stuff that most of you know. But today we're looking at some combos that I think might be underrated, might be underexplored. But before that, we'll go into a couple of the ones that are expected to rise up. Let's see. One combo that everybody's talking about is Calyrex Shadow Rider and Zamazenta Crowned. Now, these are two of the higher performing restricteds in a single restricted format. So you can expect Astral Barrage in some sort of coverage move, be it Psychic, Psyshock, there'll be a Protect, and some sort of support move, I suspect. It could be Calm Mind, it could be a Nasty Plot. So we'll just put Nasty Plot there for a moment. I'm just going to lay a Focus Sash on this big guy, just for the time being. And then, so the big counter against Calyrex is actually Terapagos, and the counter to Terapagos is Zamazenta. So that's why they think that these two are going to do so well, because they support each other. Zamazenta has Wide Guard and Body Press for the Terapagos. I don't know if they'll go Protect and Wide Guard like they have been, but this is the set that they've been doing in single formats. And personally, what I personally like to do is I like to bump that up to the second bump, and I run a slow Zamazenta, or I tend to run a slow Zamazenta. So it's something that's healthy enough to take a bit of a hit. So this is a really good support for Calyrex, and Calyrex is a really good support for Zamazenta, because Calyrex kind of beats out the Zamazenta as well. So this is the one that people expect to come about, is these duos. Another really popular one, and I'm just going to put it all on the same list, is Cali Ice and Palkia. And that's one that showed up in Sword and Shield a lot. It's really interesting because I don't know what's going to be. We didn't have Palkia Origin in Sword and Shield, so we'll also take a look at that, because it's going to be a really interesting kind of transition to see which one's better. For right now, since Palkia Standard is slower, we're going to do the Palkia, but we might look at some other ones, and I'm just going over some of the popular ones. You're going to get this information from other people, but this is just my perspective, so I appreciate you guys watching. I'm trying to even remember what he had. Calyrex is probably going to go Clear Amulet. There's not really any reason for it not to. Blocking that Intimidate has been such a boon for this Pokemon. It's crazy. And I imagine, honestly, if it was me, and I know that Calyrex is going to be in there, having a normal Terra is going to be something to consider. And Glacial Lance, I think that Close Combat will start popping up as well, because I mean Terapagos is in the mix now, and I would say that Close Combat's going to bring more value to the restricted matchup than a High Horsepower. High Horsepower is normally where it goes at, and Calyrex has so much bulk, this tends to be the default here. Or no, not that. I'm tripping. It's not. They might end up going Mint Speed, Brave Nature, especially if they're trying to underspeed for Trick Room. And it depends though, because there's been Tailwind and Trick Room for Calyrex recently, so it's very interesting. And then If I remember correctly, and somebody remind me if I'm wrong, it was something like Spatial Rend, Hydro Pump, Trick Room, Protect. Something like that. Now, it could be different. And there's all sorts of other things you could go for with that. I mean, you have the fire coverage, you got electric coverage. Palkia actually has really good coverage. You got your ground, you have your, I mean, heck, you could do fighting with the Aura Sphere. Aura Sphere against Zamazenta might be really interesting, actually, now that I think of it. But you have your electric, you have water, you have fire, you have ground. You could fish for ancient powers, which, well, people won't like that much, I don't think. But a whole lot to work with. And the interesting thing about restricted Pokemon is you don't have to have them be the big damage dealer, since there's two of them. You can build one around the other. And I've never played dual restricted. I just am going off of what I remember from Sword and Shield. So it's really exciting. It's really exciting. And another popular one I remember is Groudon Lunala. And it was like ground coverage and Trick Room. So they kind of support each other. Lunala, I believe, would have White Guard most of the time. Lunala has been doing really well as of late, but generally it's considered better in dual restricted formats, which is crazy. But these are some duos that come to mind when I think of restricted duos. And we'll clear this out real quick. There's also Kyogre Zacian, which I don't know if Zacian's going to do as well, just because it was built for doing well against Dynamax. And the fact that they nerfed it to where Intrepid Sword doesn't activate every single time it comes in is kind of wild when they do the same for Ogerpon. But we can... And I'm just doing some sort of not necessarily expected calcs, but you'd imagine that Zacian is more worried about outspeeding the Miraidon and Koraidon. And then just a spread like that. Something to where the damage can get bumped up an even number, obviously. And then Kyogre supports Zacian by having Drizzle. And who knows what this Kyogre is going to have. You could do Water Spell, you could do Origin Pulse with Calm Mind. There's a whole number of different ways you can go with that. And obviously there's probably going to be a Protect in there. Wouldn't surprise me. But Kyogre Zacian is going to be good. I think Kyogre Zamazenta is also going to be really good, since Zamazenta was doing so well with Pelipper before. And today we're just talking about the restricted duo, so those are some of the ones that immediately come to mind and that I remember. So let's look at some combos that I think might do well. And it's just, yeah, I could be wrong. I could be 1000% wrong. So I'm just going off the cup. You let me know whether you think they're going to be good or not. Let's see. One that comes to mind, I think, and this is kind of a Disquake type thing. You do Discharge or Parabolic Charge and have a bulky Miraidon. Like, say something like this. That's not as fast. And I'm just, I'm not doing anything really serious. Just the curiosity of, could this work? And I'd probably put that down a little bit so I wouldn't speed tie. Let's see. I probably want to make sure to outspeed Landers. So let's see what he's working with. 168. Okay. So you want to outspeed Landers for sure. That's just my thoughts anyway. So, boom. And now you have Discharge, Parabolic Charge. So now you have a bulky mon that can heal itself with Precipice Blades. And it's kind of a take on Disquake. And obviously, a big problem with this is it's super weak into Calyrex Ice. So you'd want one or both of them to have some sort of ability to switch for an immunity. Let's see. I'd probably say a good one would be Terra Ice or Terra Normal. Something like this screams Calyrex Ice food for sure, and that's one of the reasons I think it'll struggle. But it is an interesting combination, and you can fish for paralysis, you can heal yourself. So that's one that pops in my head. That'll be fun to experiment with. What else? I think Eternatus is going to get slept on big time. Eternatus could be an actual problem. An actual big problem. It has really good defensive capabilities. It's fast. It is, you know, you look at this thing and you don't think it's as fast as it is, but it is really up there as far as speed goes. What about, what might be interesting is doing some Galar combos like Eternatus Satian and being able to Sludge Wave into your other restricted, so there's kind of a tempo thing going. You have some interesting type coverage. Let's see. Fire type. I think a fire type Terra would kind of eat this up though. The fire type Terra anyway works really well defensively for this. So does Steel. So maybe not that. What else? What would work well with Koraidon? That's a good question. Koraidon definitely has some offensive... He's an offensive carry as far as I'm concerned, but let's see if he has anything that can help. I mean, there's Taunt. Breaking Swipe could go hard. There's not really... So... From what I'm saying, Koraidon would be an offensive carry that would need a... They would need a supporting one. Let's see. Did Koraidon Lunala perform better than Groudon Lunala? Lunala. Same last initials even. I don't know. I'm not feeling that one. I do think that Koraidon Miraidon could go stupid. Absolutely stupid. I don't know how, but when you think of all the Quark Drive Pokemon right here, and all of the photosynthesis mons, you can find some crazy synergy with that, like a Fluttermane with these two, with an Electric Seed to boost up its defense, and now you have like this fast tanky Fluttermane that can establish tempo as well as stick around on the field for more than one turn. Like, let's see, max out at 106, and then you're looking at a 159 defense, which is nothing to sleep on. So you have a really bulky pace setter here. You can also go Trick Room with Farigarath, does well. You could go a different speed control with Lilligant. Like, there's a whole lot that you can do here with these two, just because of the weather and the terrain control. Now, this all gets blown up by Rillaboom, but the most popular form has been the Terrifier Flare Blitz anyway. So you'd think that you'd be able to keep the Rillaboom under wraps. What's it? Flame Charge? Flame Charge is going to be super important here. Super important. So it's really interesting because you have all sorts of speed control and different status effects going into account here. Which, with all this power going on, I'm concerned that it's going to come down to Incineroar Mungus being everywhere. But you never know. You never know. Let's see. I do think Kyurem White Groudon would be very interesting. But not interesting enough to actually notate it. What else? Is there anything that can be done with Dialga Origin? That is some crazy bulk to work with. It's some crazy bulk to work with, and you don't have to necessarily invest a whole lot into the attack there, because this attack is already sky high. You could do something that's telepathy based. Now, it's kind of stinks because I don't think that you could do like life do stuff, but what about, I mean, you could do telepathy Groudon and put an Earthquake for Precipice Blades, or at least have an option next to Precipice Blades. Because the interesting thing about Groudon and Kyogre is they still have Earthquake and Surf. They have them on next to them where they can Earthquake and Surf. They can do a whole lot and not necessarily worry about that accuracy check. I think Mewtwo might work as a really good glass cannon here. I don't think Rayquaza is going to do anything just because they've explored Rayquaza, and if you're going to have Rayquaza, just do Dragonite. It's literally your Intimidate and Fake Out food here, and if you don't block, you have to pick one or the other. You either block the Intimidate or you block the Fake Out. You can't block both, whereas Dragonite blocks both. Rayquaza could be a really interesting pick though as far as the weather control. Perpetually having weather control is really interesting. You can also do Life Orb, and one of the things I really like about Rayquaza is it is a true mixed attacker, so you don't necessarily have to worry about Terra Normal Extreme Speed like he has here. You could go full sending it through special attack and do something like this. But let's see what other moves he has. He might have something really, really sneaky. Bulk Up. Bulk Up is cute. I like Bulk Up. Meteor Beam. Oh, Meteor Beam. You could do Power Herb Meteor Beam. That kind of cooks a little bit. But there's... Ooh, Overheat's nice. Overheat might be worth checking out, actually. Now you have some Thunder Wave. I think Thunder Wave is going to be really underrated here. Like, I know there's Miraidon and Groudon and some Pokemon that don't do status effects, but I think status effects might really come into account. Scale Shot's going to be really interesting as far as And no, I don't think these two will go well together. I was just exploring Rayquaza. Let's see. Necrozma's, I think Necrozma's gonna do really well, but I don't know how. I don't understand Necrozma at all. I just don't understand it. You could do a hard sun mode with Reshiram, Groudon. I wouldn't do Reshiram Kyogre just because, or not Reshiram Kyogre, Reshiram Koraidon. I don't know if that one's gonna mix. I might do that one for fun, just for kicks and giggles. But their jobs overlap. That's why I'm not so keen on them. But Reshiram is very, very good. Zekrom just gets outshined by Miraidon. There's very few reasons to do Zekrom. Though that physical attack's really good, but as long as Incineroar's around, it's going to be kind of a problem. Somebody did well with Giratina recently. I'm curious about that. Ho-Oh, Koraidon could be a really good mix, especially with Regenerator. I think Regenerator could be really slept on. And the only problem with Ho-Oh is Rhydon's going to be everywhere, so I don't know how that's going to work out. But man, it has been 20 minutes already of me chatting about this, so I'm going to head out for right now. I really appreciate you guys checking this out, just chilling with me while I blab about this thing. And we'll be finding out soon what the next regulation is. But until then, take it easy, y'all. I'll catch you later.